What's up, everybody, and welcome to round 2 of the 2021 Myrtle Beach Open presented by US Disc Golf. This coverage is brought to you by J. Mike's Flavor Station. When you're in the Myrtle Beach area, be sure to stop in and get an incredible breakfast. This commentary is brought to you by Parked Podcast. My name is Mitch, and joining me is my co-host, my best friend in the world, Mr. Hayden Riccard. How are you doing today, brother?
Doing good. Excited to get into round 2. Round 1 was fun to see, and now we're going into a little bit of a harder course.
Somehow more wooded. We got a great card today. Natalie Ryan, Rebecca Cox, Holly Finley, and Macie Vlediaz. And there's a lot of women here at the top within a couple strokes of each other. So this round 2 is definitely a moving day. Looking at the start, we have about 6 players all within a stroke or 2 of each other. So we're going to see how this one's going to play out. The wind is always a factor when you're near this course, but also the rain and the cold are coming in.
It's going to come down to who can play clean.
Yeah, and playing clean, not easy when you're walking up to a tee in a fairway that looks like hole 1 at 301 feet. This par 3 is not the easiest starting hole that these players play during the year. A lot of trees right next to the green. The goal here is really to get clean.
It's a tough hole. Even you had, if you looked on that preview with the drone, you had a couple benches in the way as well. I feel like that would almost throw you off a little bit, I think.
Socastee Rec Park, Natalie Ryan.
Here's Natalie Ryan throwing an M2, playing more of the straight line. Comes out a little high and right.
You can see that the rain's coming down just a little bit now.
His tee pad's looking a little bit slick.
Welcome to tee pad 1, Rebecca Cox.
Rebecca Cox having a great first round. Let's see what she can do today. Very different course, like we were saying. Even more wooded. She leans a lot on the Maverick. It's a kind of understable fairway driver. That's definitely going to be in her wheelhouse. A lot of these holes are going to require a very straight line or very like a left to right shot, which is exactly what she does here. Pure as the gap, got a straight skip. It's about all you can ask for there on hole 1.
Yeah, that's a really good shot. Straight and to the point.
Holly Finley, we had her on round 1. She was a little bit struggling in the beginning, but once that putter got hot, she stayed hot the rest of the round. See how she can start it off here. Late tree kick, still moving forward after it.
Macie Vlediaz.
This one is brutal off the fairway, worse than round 1's. Macie going with a forehand.
Definitely her most favorable shot. Well, just when we thought the benches wouldn't come into play, comes out a little bit low. And with that forehand, she probably was playing for some kind of ground play. But now with a really awkward lie.
It's really not a bad result from where she was. But, yeah, that lie was terrible.
Let's see what Holly has after this. Wow.
Ooh.
Using
what a tree kick.
a style points right there, going off the tree, nearly hitting the pole. Great second shot from Holly. Macie going to that forehand again. Leaks a little bit long. That hard packed sand, some rock throughout this course. You can have some skips and some slides where you don't expect it. We're finally getting to Natalie's drive here. She's a little bit like an Anheuser putt. Gives it good height, but that's a really tough angle to hit. Rebecca with the cleanest of the group. Slips out a little bit. Definitely not the run that she wanted.
Macie here with the comeback. Just off to the left. You can tell she's kind of frustrated off the first hole already.
Some awkward footing here.
I think she pushed that more than spun it.
Yeah, but it came out, slipped out a little bit odd.
Yep.
Definitely not how you want to start the round here. But there are a lot of holes here that you can play for par, and she can turn it around and get some birdies with that forehand. Definitely a weapon that she has above the rest of the field.
For sure.
We're going to see the rest of our players on the card here tap out for a par, which is a great score on hole 1.
Going on to hole 2, 249 feet. This one, you kind of want to throw a hyzer and leave it over the fence or just inside the fence and then let it come back down and slide up next to the basket. Pretty easy shot. Throwing fairways and mid-ranges probably.
But you do have that fence out of bounds the entire way. With this wind, I don't think it's going to come in. Natalie really showing you exactly what you need to do. Yeah. Absolutely parked.
That was perfect.
Great speed control. You can't really see the basket off this tee. So it's kind of a head game to really lock in and know I'm throwing 249 feet and be able to commit to that. Rebecca out of the hand, flipping up that fairway driver a little bit too much. The distance was perfect, but she's going to find the OB and definitely have to come back pretty far on the fairway.
Holly Finley throwing a fairway, and I think she's going to go over the fence and let it fade back. Really using that disc to let it do what it needs to do.
Throwing a disc this fast, though. Yep, exactly what we were thinking.
Throwing driver there is definitely going to give you that more skip, especially now that the ground's wet. It's going to play more into that skip.
Yeah, she came in high there. I was expecting a tree hit. She probably was too. Just kind of let everything crash in. Here's Macie. Throwing a mid-range, I believe. Just came out early. It's going to be a tough lie from there. With that forehand, maybe she'll go for a forehand roller, maybe out and around. But it's going to be a very tough lie from there for Macie.
And you see Rebecca's, where she comes out after going OB. It was a little bit long, but should be able to save par or bogey.
Macie really with nothing here. So many little trees and limbs sticking out, doing what she can to get up to circle's edge.
This is as best as you could probably do from there.
Going for a jump putt. Really awkward angle there. Having to do a jump putt and a step putt with an anti-angle to get around the trees. There's really not a lot of line there. Speaking of weird angles, Holly Finley going to a knee. Gives it a great run.
That was a great run from where she was. Blocked off and having to step out.
Yep. Here's Macie for par. Great recovery. Sorry for bogey, but that was a great recovery after hole 1 with those missed putts. She really was able to just get her mental set and right and able to continue on in this round. When the conditions are tough, I think putting becomes the hardest thing.
Yeah, that's definitely it. You definitely want to just be under the basket and not have to worry about it. In that range where you have no fear of putting.
Yeah, and that circle of range where you really have no fear and there's a confidence in it definitely gets smaller. I know for me, like I'm usually confident in that 20-foot range or so, but once you get into those cold conditions, or your hand's a little slippery with the rain kind of coming down here, that gets smaller and smaller. And a lot of these holes,
10 to 15-foot ranges, it's scary.
Yeah, taking that extra time. We talked a lot about it in round 1, but taking that extra time is going to be so useful for these women today.
And Natalie carding the only birdie for that hole.
As we go into hole 3, par 3, 294 feet. It's when the woods really start to show their teeth. This shot is a straight shot up the gap, and then it's going to finish right. Definitely is begging for a forehand or just a slight turnover with a mid-range for your right-handed backhand player. We're probably going to see a good amount of forehands from this card with Macie and Natalie.
And Natalie going that forehand, looking pretty good.
Just leaks it a little long. You need to make that turn a little bit earlier. Holly checking the wind, trying to be between a couple discs here. Holly, a backhand masterclass in round 1. These exact shape shots. Let's see how she can do it up. A little bit early, finds the triple tree kick to the left, but should have a clean look going up the gut.
And Rebecca going with that trusty fairway driver.
Asking for it to get right.
Gets a good kick.
A couple of kicks to get her to the right there.
And Macie going with the forehand. Definitely going to see this a lot today.
Yeah, we got to see Macie play at the Throw Pink Women's Championship earlier this year, and just an absolute workhorse of a forehand she has. Definitely going to be putting the test in all the different angles, all the different lines that are needed here in the woods.
I'm sure this rain is not helping with that forehand.
Yeah, in the rain, especially in the cold, you lean on that shot that you're most comfortable in.
Yep.
Good correction there to get inside the circle. Yep.
That's exactly what you want to do.
Be an unfortunate bogey for her, but definitely get some confidence with that forehand stroke, shaping some lines. Speaking of shaping lines, Holly Finley.
What a forehand.
As a wide rim driver.
Yeah.
Shaping that line perfectly, knowing how much anhyzer she can put on that disc. As a teaching lesson there on forehand touch.
Rebecca Cox trying to go big anhyzer. And gets an unfortunate kick left.
Yeah, not a lot there. Forehand was maybe a little bit too tight, using that height to give herself a chance. But
and couldn't really tell what she had for backhand on the other side of the trees over there.
Yeah, it would have been a weird kind of horseshoe step out maybe. But here's her par look. Mid-circle 2. Just laying up, stopping the bleeding there, getting a bogey.
Sometimes it's really good to just stop the bleeding, play for the bogey, and move on.
Yep. Holly's not playing for the bogey there. Gets a great par. Par through the first 3. Not bad scores whatsoever.
No. The way this course is turning out and how wooded it is, that is perfectly fine.
You can see Rebecca and Macie, unfortunate bogeys there.
Hello Leopard 3 is stable. It's want to go straight all day long. That's why I love it. It feels good in my hand. It's just very comfortable to grip. Just throw, it's gonna fly straight for you. And I love their plastic. It is beautiful. Look at this color. When you have a pretty disc like this, you just want a birdie, right?
Moving into hole 4, 459 feet, par 4, and man, is this a tough one. Going down the fairway, you got to miss a lot of these trees, hit them, and get lucky to get through that gap, and it finishes left just barely.
Really, it's your straightest shot over and over and over again.
And you might see a lot of these people, a lot of these women go with a mid-range and just kind of play the gap.
Yep. Natalie maybe trying to bite off a little bit too much there with a pretty fast disc in her hand. A lot of the par forwards here on this course here at Socastee, they're very much, you can play for par or you can maybe take some of it off and split these holes into a couple different shorter shots as they're so technical and there's really not a lot of movement left to right or you're in a really unfortunate spot.
And I think that's really smart if you break it down and then just play for the par or a bogey. It's really smart.
Yeah. Rebecca leaning on this fairway driver again here on hole 4. Yep, keeping it low, minimizing the left to right movement. Really good play there. Macie going to the backhand. A lot of power in that backhand. Yep, sliding up on playing to the right side, being able to open up that forehand. We have Natalie on a different fairway, nearly going up the road here. Really opening up the shot, though.
Yeah, I think that really helped her a lot.
Got her right in within about 15 feet of the basket there.
Maybe that's the play.
Yeah. Surprising for sure. Especially seeing where these other women have ended up.
Holly going for another forehand, gets a late kick.
Yeah, just a little bit short on the approach there from Rebecca. But again, like we said at the beginning of this hole, it's playing those minimal fade shots straight up the gap. Macie making it to circle's edge, like we said, on that right side, opening up the forehand for a second shot, really playing to her game. Holly with just an unfortunate lie there.
Yeah, I think that was just real tough for her to get through that gap.
Giving it a little bid to save the par, though. Rebecca realizing that bogey is definitely an opportunity to remain stress-free. It's going to be unfortunate 3 bogeys in a row for her, but we'll definitely see her bounce back.
Yeah, Macie there just missed her line a little bit and let it go a little bit early on the putt.
Taking her time here. Good, confident there for par. To have a look for birdie on this hole is just 1 in a million, honestly. And she played it to her game, setting up that second shot to her forehand. And that's what it comes down to out here, how tight these lines are. You saw the umbrella get blown over in the wind there.
And Natalie getting fortunate that she got in that fairway, was able to push the distance really, really far and card that birdie.
One of the only birdies on the day. And she's 2 down through 4 holes. Definitely a lot less color on the card here for Natalie. A lot less red, at least. Moving into hole 5, 349 feet, par 3. One of the more open holes on this course, which is surprising to say. But it's definitely a longer par 3, and it just demands a skip shot, demands a lot of luck here at the end of it. But it's a pretty straightforward hyzer shot for your right-handed backhand player. But definitely going to be able to use that hard packed ground. Maybe the rain earlier today will help it out and maybe make a skip happen a little bit more on that wet grass.
And you see a lot of these women probably be throwing max drivers, trying to push that distance and also push that right side of the fairway down so it flies that full fairway.
And getting that bigger flare with that wider rim once it stops.
Exactly.
A little bit more inside line here from Rebecca. Using that ground play.
But nothing wrong with that at all.
No, and she really is just playing for par there. She's aiming to hit the line and give herself a good second shot.
Honestly, this is kind of a tough par 3 for them. It's pretty far for them, and then also you got the guarded trees at the end.
Mm-hmm. This is a tough par 3 for anyone stepping up. I mean, top players in the world, men and women alike, this is definitely not a free shot. Holly standing up a little bit more. Getting lucky through the backside there. Definitely the best shot of the group so far. Almost the circle's edge. There's Natalie on the approach. Wow, nearly throwing in on her approach there for birdie.
That was a good
What
approach
a line.
there.
Demonstrating the touch of that Anheuser forehand through the woods. Here's Rebecca, most likely just laying up for the par. Yep. Sticking to her game plan, knowing that there's a lot of holes out here that can get stressful really quick.
Yeah, it's really good to focus on that and then take your birdies where you can.
Mm-hmm. Holly for birdie. Oh, just off the top. Great commitment. She can adjust that putt just by a little bit and really just lock into those long distance spin putts like she did in round 1. Unfortunate after that great second shot.
Rebecca here for the par. Good par. Playing clean. It's exactly what we're talking about. It's just playing your shots, playing clean, moving on to the next hole.
Macie doing the same here. Not really ever entertaining that birdie, but walking away with a great par here on hole 5.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Holly Finley does the same, cards her par.
Fortunate bogey there from Natalie.
Moving on to hole 6, 243 feet, par 3. Again, you got some guarded fairways. You got 2 lines you could probably get down. Most of them you're probably going to see throw through the right side gap and try to skip up or get to this ditch and then skip up on that to the green.
Yeah, this is another one of those holes is just throw your shot you're most confident in. It's a hole. Birdie it's very, very difficult to get to because of the straight flight, but also the need to have a late turn. Rebecca just a little bit turned over, but actually gets her into a good spot. Sticking to that game plan again. She really didn't give it the height to get all the way there, but knowing that there's a big open area in the middle of that fairway.
You can see Macie here going with the fairway as well. Going on that left side gap. Honestly, pured it. And that was probably the best one that we've seen. I mean, that was really clean, and she has a look.
Yeah, being a forehand dominant player, but also just ripping a just kind of an understable fairway on a straight line. Holly definitely going for it here.
She wanted that one, and it looked like it was going to. I mean, she was throwing that one in round 1, and it was doing what she wanted very nicely.
That late turn off that orange fairway, like a leopard or something similar to that. Oh, late kick there from Natalie pushes her pretty far left.
Holly going with another forehand.
Really just not a lot here. Unfortunate. You can see how this course, not a lot of out of bounds in this course, but just when you're off by minimal amounts, it'll bite you. Natalie almost getting hit with a disc from another fairway there behind her, completely unfazed.
That's kind of a hard punch back into that fairway where she was and also get the distance towards the basket.
Yeah. Maybe a forehand roller is really the only way to get to that pin from where she's
not confident in it.
Yeah. Holly going to the backhand again, just barely
guarded
off.
Trees.
Yeah, this hole is just one of the tightest fairways and such a demanding shot to get there. With only 243 feet, you would think it would be there. It definitely plays longer than that, especially with this little ditch. Weird kick there from Rebecca to push her forwards, but we'll have a clean look at the par.
Macie going forehand upshot, just with a putter.
Yeah, bread and butter
skipping
for
up
her.
right there. She should be able to make that for par.
Holly with another just awkward lie. Punches through as far as she can, but
that's really tough. I mean, these fairways off the fairways are not giving anything to these players at all.
Mm-hmm. In this course specifically, like the trees are so close to the basket. Now, there's been a lot of talk with maybe saying no trees, maybe in the circle or some kind of ruling stuff with courses on the Pro Tour, as Holly nearly throws that one in for a save.
It'd be interesting to see what people think about that.
Yeah, on a course like this, it's kind of the identity of it is those trees dictate so many of the lines. Oh, Rebecca just off hitting the nub of the cage there for her par. Holly having to straddle out a little bit here. Unfortunate triple bogey, but a confident putt to end it.
Yeah, that was a really confident putt. She was like, I'm done with this hole. Just make it.
Mm-hmm. Walking away with her head held high. Going back over par there.
Macie coming in with a straddle putt as well, saving her par. That was
Great
really great.
Straddle putt. Not her natural stance, but being able to just confidently put it in there for the solo par here on hole 6. Rebecca Cox with a bogey.
And honestly, a bogey is not bad here.
Mm-mm. Coming into hole 7, par 4, 491 feet. As we've said so many times, a lot of trees, a lot of tight lines, a lot of awkward shapes that a disc needs to fly. This one you want to go straight, kind of a left to right shot, and then it just straightens out most of the way. But that second shot is really dictated by how clean your first shot is. With a hole that's 491 feet, being a par 4, maybe not needing to bite off as much, but really controlling how much movement off of the fairway you have.
And Macie going there with a forehand. She might not be in a bad spot. She might have an open lie. She pushed pretty far. We'll see how it plays out.
Rebecca going backhand here, understable driver.
I think if that had more height, it
Would've
would have gotten
into
a little
that
bit
prime
more
spot.
further.
Mm-hmm. Natalie going with kind of an overstable fairway driver. Wanted to release it more, probably more on Anheuser there.
That was a really good kick to kick her back down.
Yep. She should have, honestly, almost a straight line at the basket for her second shot.
It looks like Holly's going to go big Anheuser.
Oh,
tried.
just so close. The reluctant, just, oh. We've all been there, Holly. We totally understand that feeling. Trying to go big Anheuser again.
Another unfortunate kick left into the brush over here.
Really nothing
What
here.
is this? Oh, my.
Oh, worst case scenario there for Holly.
Holy smokes.
What else are you really going to do from there other than like a tiny little forehand roller out that brushes above her head?
Yeah, I don't know. She
Maybe-
tried to power
maybe an
through
overhead
it.
shot.
She
like-
tried to power through it and just push through.
but a
but
great recovery there.
Yeah.
Really the furthest she's moved up the fairway since that drive. After a fortunate kick, here's Natalie for her second shot. As we assumed, a very straight shot she has left. Wow, to go
Yeah.
long after that.
That was really good. That kick put her in a good spot.
Rebecca using the right side of the fairway here, hoping for a skip at the end to put her close. Oh, maybe not that big of a skip.
Hey,
But-
but she's there.
Yep, got in a good spot, a little bit long. Macie having to go to the patent pending. Oh, wow. It's a little bit of a late kick, but even to get that shape out of her hand from a standstill there is quite
To
a
split
feat.
those two trees like she just did.
Yeah.
That was really good. And Holly just laying up, trying to not do any more damage.
Macie with another odd step out. This time putting herself inside the circle.
She's gonna have a tester there after hitting that tree.
Just inside the circle here for Natalie for her birdie. Would be a great birdie to get. Oh, it's a pure putt. Flat the whole way there. It's a big thing on this course, especially on most wooded courses, when you can have those fortunate tree kicks you're not expecting and to be able to capitalize on it. That's how you win tournaments on wooded courses right there.
Yeah, just play clean.
Macie closer than we thought. Yep.
Good comeback for the par.
Great par. She's on a par streak here, but it's not a bad thing on this course when you can see huge numbers over and over and over again, even on these short par threes under like 250 feet.
Which is kind of nuts when you think about it.
Yeah. You have like some of these ladies getting scores 4s, 5s, 6s on less than 250 foot holes. It just shows the just brutality of these fairways.
And good birdie putt from Rebecca.
Great birdies from Rebecca and Natalie here.
They look really confident putt.
Rebecca playing this hole a little bit cleaner without that the kick that Natalie had, but still being able to card the birdie. Good, confident jam there. That's 2 in a row. Higher numbers than she definitely wanted on these last 2 holes of 6 and 7, but finishing it off with a really confident putt.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on to hole 8, 340 feet, par 3. Got 2 gaps here, pretty much straight up the gap, and then it finishes left. Basket is just around the corner, so probably going to throw a straight to stable disc, mainly probably a fairway or full speed driver.
Really the most like disc golf shaped hole we've
Yeah.
played so far.
Pretty much.
Not that much stuff in the way if you can just hit that initial gap. Rebecca using the entire fairway on that left side, flexing it all the way back. Wow.
And that was a
Using
great
both
shot.
fairways.
Yeah, that was a great shot.
Natalie playing more up the middle.
It's honestly not a bad kick if she has a gap over there.
Macie going in the backhand again. Alex Pure. A little more of a straight skip instead of that hyzer skip she was expecting, but just absolutely pure to the gap.
To have a look there, that's really good.
Holly just a little bit off again. Great power, good height. Just a touch off getting that kick. Great hyzer approach, nearly cashing it in for the birdie from probably outside 250 feet.
Yep. And she's just inside circle 1. Natalie Ryan throwing just up there. Gets. What is this roll? Oh.
Kind of Sonic the Hedgehog sped up there.
It just
kept
kind
going.
of caught back up onto the rim and just kept rolling towards the next tee pad.
Yep.
But not a bad shot from where she was.
Macie for birdie just outside circle. Probably going to go to that step putt she likes too. This would be a great birdie for her.
See if she can put any power behind this one.
Just seemed like it slipped out a little bit. The timing on that step putt, kind of from that circle's edge, is tough to find. You don't want to put too much on it.
And Rebecca here for the birdie.
Just a little bit short. Didn't get a lot of rotation behind that. That cold weather just definitely affecting the putt. I know for me, that's something that I struggle with, is actually putting spin, actually putting confidence behind the putt. The opposite there for Natalie, pushing a little bit too high and left.
Now she has a tester.
Mm-hmm.
And good, solid par putt from Holly. That was nice.
Yep. After going double bogey, triple bogey, but every time on these last couple holes, finishing out with such a solid putt. It's good to know even when you're feeling off on your drives, your putt is still feeling incredibly confident like hers is.
Good bogey putt from Natalie Ryan there.
Yeah, the unfortunate roll away, making that par save a little bit difficult, but a great putt to come back.
Yeah. And Macie cleans up her par, and she's winning on a par streak, but like we said, there's nothing wrong with that at all going into the last hole.
Having gray on your card is not a bad thing on the front 9 here at Socastee. All right, hole 9, 258 feet, par 3. Again, that left to right shape, but this one really demands a flex line out of the hand and then fading back and maybe getting a little bit of a skip to get into the green inside the circle. But all these trees right there, if you go long, you really don't have anything. But you're going to see a lot of these women throw maybe an overstable disc on a hard anhyzer and have it fight out. Rebecca throwing a very overstable disc. Really committing to that snap. What a shot shape.
Exactly what you said. Overstable disc and just put it on a big anhyzer.
You see the shock from Holly laughing.
Let it fall back towards the basket.
Yep, let the disc do the work. The absolute joy out of Holly Finley there in the back.
Macie's throwing here a mid-range.
Kind of throwing that more anhyzer line, just knowing
She gets through, though.
She may have a look.
She might.
Circle's edge. See if she can improve from last hole on that step putt. Just happy to get through.
And Holly following suit, throwing mid-range, but leads it a little bit too much hyzer on there and ends up hitting the tree early.
It's hard to commit to that line when you've been a little bit off so far in this front 9. But like we said, that putter's hot. If she can continue that, the back 9 should definitely be a little bit easier for her. Natalie just out early. Look how he just slipped straight out of her hand. Pretty brutal kick there to the left, but she's been scrambling really well this round. Most of the bogeys she's had, she's followed up with a birdie.
And Holly does the same thing. I mean, that was a tough, sharp hyzer she had to throw there to get towards the basket.
Speaking of sharp hyzers, that was nearly upside down. Grenade out of Natalie. Puts her back in the fairway. Probably
She might have
outside circle 2.
Yeah, she has a little bit of a look here.
Yeah, to have a bid after that brutal first kick for par is not a bad thing. Macie kind of found herself a ditch here, going to a forehand.
Just a little touch forehand.
Oh, a little bit more height, and it was there. That would have been a great way to cap off this front 9.
We got Rebecca here for the birdie.
Very rare birdie look here on hole 9. Oh, just a bit low and nose down.
She wanted that one.
She knew that was a stroke on most of the field.
Yeah.
Holly for par. Yep.
Good finish.
Such a confident putter. Definitely not the front nine she wanted so far, but we've kept saying it. That confidence in that putter is definitely going to be paying off. Macie and Rebecca tapping their par simultaneously. We'll see Natalie for bogey.
Man, this front nine, really, really tough.
Yeah, absolutely brutal. No one on this card is under par. It has some teeth on it. We saw some great scrambling, some great putting, which is what you need to do on a course like this. Let's check in on the leaderboard. Only one player here in the top 10 under par after the front nine. Deanne Carey jumping a couple spots, being tied for second. Natalie Ryan still holding a 2-stroke lead going into the back nine. And man, like this back nine doesn't get any easier. We're going to see what's going to play out.
We'll see how they can do. And this weather is probably not going to get any better.
Hopefully the rain holds off, but we will see you for the back nine here at round 2 at the Myrtle Beach Open.